Hello, this is Stampy, and welcome to a brand new behind-the-scenes video. As you're watching this, I am beginning work designing a brand new minigame. At the moment, I'm at the very beginning part of designing the minigame. I have zero idea what this game was going to be. All I know is that I want to use this. I want to use TNT with a minecart, or minecart with TNT. Yeah, there we go. Minecart with TNT is the technical name. You know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I've never used it before in any builds whatsoever. Obviously, it's a little bit explosive. It's a little bit dangerous. In my lovely world, I won't have the luxury of putting down a bunch of bedrock all over the floor, but there has to be some cool things I can do with this. So I've been having a bit of a play around, and I've been reading on the Minecraft wiki, and I didn't realize how many cool ways there were to set off the TNT. Listen to this. It's not just using like redstone or like activator rails to set it off. There's loads of different ways you can set them off. So basically you can use an activator rail, you can use a fire charge. If it hits the ground really fast, it gets set off. If you destroy it while it's in motion, it blows up. It's destroyed by fire, lava as well. If it turns too fast on a curved bit of track, then it blows up. If it's hit by a flaming arrow, then it blows up. And then if it goes really fast just into a block, then it also blows up. Or if it goes really fast into an entity, it blows up. So if someone's standing here and it goes really fast into them, it will blow up. So basically, it's very explosive. So there's just got to be something cool that you can do with it. All of these different ways that it can be blow up, not just using the redstone like that. I know. Have I got like, I got TNT explode off, so it wasn't going to blow up like that. Let's just go and break this away before I go and destroy everything that I built, which isn't very much. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with just the different ways that you can get it to blow up, just see kind of how consistent it is, like, you know, whether flying it into a person would work. And maybe there could be a game where maybe there's two teams and they each have a block and you're trying to blow up the other person's TNT to win. Maybe it could be a case, like imagine if there's this TNT here, and maybe it could be like someone's trying to get from here to the other side. Let me just build like a little demonstration here with this bedrock. Of course, the tricky thing is if we are building an arena, like how is it not going to get blown up all of the time? I could use obsidian, so there is that as an option. But imagine like this is like a wall going all the way across here like this, but then there's just like a few gaps. Like you've probably played a video game where there's been like a level similar to this. So there's a few like little hidey holes that you can go in on your way. So say I'm trying to get to that like that block there. I start here. I need to run through here and dodge the TNT as it's going past, and maybe other people could be setting it off. Something like that could be really cool. But first I need to see how consistently does the TNT get blown up when it's like going into someone. But I guess we can do a very quick experiment from with that there, because that seems like a cool idea. I don't know how much of a fully featured mini game that would be able to make, but as a initial idea, I think that could be certainly a little bit interesting. So let's just go and link up a very little simple bit of redstone here just to go and test that out. And so I guess if I just stand, actually I should go to survival first, and let's go to easy, see if it blows me up. If I stand here, if that flies into me, okay. So it looks like it wasn't going fast enough to get blown up. But apparently if I try to break it, it should get blown up. Oh, it didn't get set off. So yes, it says, if destroyed while in motion, does not get destroyed if the player's in creative mode. So if I'm in motion and I destroy it, is that going to blow it up? I guess, sorry, if it's in motion. Let's go and make another one and go and, where is it? Up here. Yeah, let's go and try and do it when it's moving a little bit faster. Then maybe it wasn't moving fast enough when I broke it. So let's go and try and set it down now. Let's do it as it's going. Oh, I'm in creative mode. Okay, that just making it like disappear. Right, let's go back to survival. Let's go and try this out, because this could be like a good way to stop you just destroying it. It didn't get destroyed still. I don't know if it wasn't going fast enough, or maybe it's just a different on console. Maybe the wiki was for something else. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it looks like if it's going really fast and you destroy it, then it blows up. Yeah, there's definitely some interesting stuff to play around with here. So I'm going to go and play around with that and see kind of what my favorite mechanic is, or what mechanic would make the best kind of minigame. And then we can go and kind of, go a little bit deeper and try and work out exactly how this is going to work. Okay, I did a bunch of playing around, and I'm recording this on the next day. I struggled to come up with a good idea, and I decided to sleep on it, and I think I have a better idea, but the problem is that, and you're going to laugh at me because of this, because it seems like such an obvious problem, but the TNT keeps blowing everything up. Everything I keep trying to build, it just blows it up. And so I've been experimenting with like different blocks that have different like blast resistance, and there's only a few blocks that are able to resist being blown up by TNT. Some of them are a bit weird, like things like enchantment tables, like end chests and anvils don't get blown up, but I can't really build out of any of those items. I can't really move them around or do much with them. So it's really kind of basically just obsidian. Like there are other blocks, like things like command blocks that aren't even in the game and a few other things, but basically nothing that I could actually build out of. So it kind of has to be obsidian, I realized. The other problem though is that, okay, the obsidian doesn't blow up, but say if I got a minecart on a track, the track will blow up. So let's say if I have like the TNT here, and let me just go and stand on here and let me go and shoot it with my flame arrow. I think I am going to end up just using a flame arrow, by the way, because yeah, these bows aren't too hard to get and it's pretty reliable. But yep, as you can see, it blows up all of the track, and there could be a game that, you know, it is on a track, but then you just reset the track in between like times playing it, but that just gets a little bit irritating. I would like to not have too big of a time to reset the game. Something though, and I was kind of inspired by the Minecraft wiki for this. I was looking at the list of blast radius, and it actually had fire and lava listed there. Let me just bring it up. So flowing water and just water has a 500 blast resistance, which is really good. It's not as good as obsidian, which has 6,000 blast resistance. So basically this obsidian isn't going anywhere, but basically means that if TNT blows up here, it doesn't get rid of the water. So I thought, rather than using a track, what if the TNT is going across in the water like that? And look at that. You can just gradually like see it going across, and you can just about see the top of it. I could try and shoot it, and there we go. And it doesn't affect anything. Everything just stays the way it was, and it moves at like a really nice gradual speed. So I thought maybe it could be a game where like you're trying to get your TNT to the other person's base, and maybe it's kind of gradually making its way down here. Like this obsidian could maybe go like and drop down like this, and then kind of carry on going along this way. Like if I put more water down here, like it could keep on dropping down, and maybe you're trying to somehow defend your TNT while also trying to blow up the other person's TNT. Or maybe, yeah, that's right, because you're trying to stop their TNT getting to your base. Something else as well is that I could have a really nice natural way to kind of have like a checkpoint system. So say you need to get 3 blocks of TNT to the other person's base. I could have it so that there's like 3 walls, and like once the TNT blows up one wall, the next one can get past it, and basically you keep going until 3 blocks of TNT have made their way to the other person's side. Because I think if there's only one bit of TNT going, it's just like there's not going to be much choice for strategy there, because whatever you're doing to defend it, you're just going to do it at the right time and it's going past, or whatever you're trying to do to shoot it, there's just only one you need to shoot at. Maybe you're going to have to make a decision like where I want to shoot the one that's getting close to blowing up, but maybe that's a more difficult shot than the one which is right at the front. So you can have more strategy if there's more of them going, and it's not particularly hard to make TNT in a minecart, so it's not that weird to have loads of them. So I think there's a bit of an idea there. So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this water mechanic just because it's really cool. I just love the way the minecart kind of just pokes over the top. It's really easy to get it dropped down into there, and you kind of just see the TNT going across. I don't know, that just kind of makes me laugh. So I really like that. So right, let me go and try and play around a little bit more with this mechanic, and I'll show you what I end up coming up with. Okay, I've done a bit more playing around, and I thought I'd show you what I've worked out. I haven't really worked out any more of what the actual proper game's going to be, apart from what I said before, but I tested out this mechanic where you would have the water kind of gradually dropping it down, and it works exactly as I expected. Basically, this will gradually make its way along down here. Of course, you could end up making it kind of drop down and then go back in the other direction, as long as it doesn't drop down too far to set it off. So that works well. It also works perfectly where if the minecart gets to these tracks, it will just transition perfectly from the water onto the tracks, which could come in really useful if at the end it's going to like suddenly whiz around the track to get to the other side quickly, rather than having to continue going really slowly along the water. So let me just nudge this along a little bit just so I can give you a demonstration of how this works. Come on, hurry up. I was happy that it went slow, but when I'm just staring at it, I wanted to go quicker, and it's on the track. There we go, and let's stop it there before it blows up. Yeah, and then I did some working out for the, I said about the counting mechanism. Ignore the marks on the floor. They are from failed experiments. So basically, I've set up a mechanism here where if 5 minecarts get past, it will turn this light off. And it's so simple. Basically, every time one of these minecarts fall, it basically blows up just the top one. So that was 1. If I do this one, 2, 3, 4, and then underneath this block there is just a lever, and so it's not blown up yet, basically the cobblestone before it saved it. And then if this one drops down, then it just goes and blows up the lever. Of course, every time you would need to add down another lever. The reason I did a lever rather than a redstone torch or anything else is basically to reset the game. All you really need is the lever, which just means like a stick and a bit of cobblestone, so it's like really, really cheap. Of course, you are going to be losing all of the mine carts and the TNT, which means this will be a game that you want to save before playing and then loading back the other save, otherwise you're going to lose loads and loads of iron. But yeah, apart from that, I think that mechanism works really well for kind of counting how many. This is kind of even easier than I expected it was going to be. So it's just really hard because you've got to make sure that anything in the area can get blown up. So you've got to have all of the redstone kind of hidden and protected and stuff, which does kind of limit what it is that you can do. But yeah, this is working really well. That seems to work really well. I kind of need to somehow mix these two together and then kind of work out what the actual game is. But yeah, I was really happy with that and I thought I'd show you. Okay, quick little update. I've been struggling a little bit with this game. Normally at this point, like the main idea of the game would have come to me, but so far it hasn't. This is going to be one of the ones where I need to bang my head against a wall for a little bit until I can work it out. But hey, that's okay. Sometimes you end up with kind of the more strange ideas and more different ideas when it isn't just instantly obvious what you need to do. But yeah, basically I rigged up this here. And what this did is basically space them out pretty nicely, where if I put like a bunch inside of here, they'd all start coming out and then they'd have enough of a gap between them, which would mean that if I shot one and it blew up, it wouldn't blow up all of the others on the trail. So that's what that was about there. I'm starting to move away a little bit from my initial idea of having there being 2 tracks. I kind of like the idea of there just being one TNT minecart that makes its way down, and the idea is that you're trying to guide it to the other person's base. So there could be 2 of them, and then it kind of gets to a crossroad here, and when it reaches the middle, it basically stops moving and gets kind of completely stuck where it is. Here, if I push up a block, see if, well, I could just place a block, but if I like placed a block either side here, so say if I placed a block on this side, then the water would flow this way and push it this way, and then the same the other direction. So it could be a case where you're somehow trying to extend some pistons down here, which when lifted up would then send the minecart either direction, and so you're trying to guide it to the other person's base. And so now maybe at this point, there could be like the last chance to shoot it with a bow and arrow. I just need to come up with a way for that to be quite a difficult shot. Maybe it could be a case where you have a very limited amount of arrows. Say maybe you only have 3 arrows, which means that, you know, if you miss, then that's really bad, and there's only a certain amount of minecarts you're going to be able to stop anyway. That might be like a nice kind of a last chance way to be able to stop it, but I don't think that should be the main part of the game. So I kind of like the idea of that as a concept. I think this works really well, the way that kind of whichever one you push up will just change the flow pretty nicely, and it only needs to be up for like a very brief second, and then it will drop back down again. But of course, if the game is you're standing here pressing buttons on pistons, then well, yawn, that would be really, really boring. The other thing as well is if the minecart can't be blown up like at any point during the game, like maybe in this like instance there's no way to blow it up, it also means the entire game doesn't need to be made out of obsidian. The obsidian only needs to be in places where the minecart could blow up, and means that we could have a nicer looking game rather than having it only out of obsidian. So I think the fun thing then is to decide what is going to be the mechanism to make these pistons extend. Because I do have my switch the switch game, which is all about piling up to kind of switch one side. And of course, the button doesn't have to be down here. This could be a trail of redstone, you know, being anywhere. There could be like one player on one side, one player on the other side. It doesn't really matter where, you know, the button is. But yeah, I'm going to once again have a little bit of a think about this. But I'm struggling. I'll be honest, I'm struggling with this one, but I'll get there. I know I will. Okay, I basically want to share some ideas. Like when I'm struggling to design the thing, mainly these behind the scenes videos is me just kind of telling you what I'm thinking at the moment. Like it keeps changing, but this is kind of where I'm at the moment. So I did like another mock-up just to kind of separate it from that there, especially as I realize I don't need it to be out of obsidian. I kind of wanted to make it look a bit nicer just for me now, and just easier way for me to do the redstone. So basically this just allows me to switch back and forth. And I was kind of experimenting like with what happens if like you're kind of just spamming both of the buttons, and it gets a little bit weird. You can kind of like end up lifting the minecart up on the block, but it basically generally ends up being whoever had it pushed down first ends up being the winner. So even if I keep kind of pressing the orange one now, it generally will go that side unless you catch it really, really early. But yeah, basically I was playing around with this, and then I had the idea of it all being about timing. So I think I really need to make a random element, otherwise I think you could get really good. But let's just say these buttons aren't up here, but they're down here, which means you can't really see where the minecart is. So a minecart gets set off, and so maybe there could be like a ladder that you get up to a higher area. You can see the minecart coming, but when you press the button, you have to guess when the minecart is going to be in position just to get the timing right. I think that could be a cool part of the game. And I was like, okay, that's a good idea, but what is stopping you just going down and just going like, press the button, press the button, press the button, just keep spamming the button to win that way? And I was like, there needs to be like something bad that would happen if you keep spamming the button, because otherwise that's all everyone would do. And then I was like, aha, how about we solve two problems with the same kind of idea? You remember earlier I was talking about how it would be cool to have some fire arrows as kind of a last minute way to stop, but how many arrows should you have? What if every time you press the button, not only does it lift up the block, but it also gives the opposing player an arrow that they could use to potentially stop the minecart? Does that sound cool? Because then that way, like, you have a chance to make the minecart go to the other person's side, but if you don't get the timing right, then you're giving the other person an arrow, which means they might get a chance to stop it. And it could be a case where we have a dropper, and it could like maybe have it could possibly have like different things in. It could have arrows in, but then it could also have fish in and like some other things. So it doesn't 100% of the time drop an arrow, because otherwise every single time you press the button they'll get an arrow, which means they might end up getting too many arrows. But that could be a pretty cool idea. Like it could be a case where like quite a few of them go at the same time. So maybe like actually I'm doing it with a chest at the moment just to not risk blowing all of this stuff up early. But yeah, maybe you could like look and you see like a bunch of them going with a different spacing between them. And then you need to kind of like look at how much of a gap there is between them and then go down to press the button to try and get the timing right. That could be pretty cool. I think there's a good idea with that. And so this could be done either by some sort of random element I create, or seeing as this game is going to be a 1v1 game, it could be a case where it's a 1v1 game, but then like there's someone else who is the person that is setting these off randomly. Kind of like the, what's the game called? This game. Kind of like this game. Cart count. Kind of like this game where someone sets up the game for the other two people to play it, and then it turns into a 1v1 basically. I like that. I like that as an idea, and I've not really done a game which is about kind of getting the timing right. So yeah, I think this is certainly something that I'm onto. So let me go and keep on working down this idea. But I think I have the initial idea for what this minigame is going to now actually end up being. Okay, I think I've designed the mechanism to make the minecarts randomly come out. Like, it could have worked with someone setting them off, and I could kind of have that as an option, I guess, but it's always nice when it is a two-player game to be able to play it with just two people rather than, like, saying, hey, buddy, can you, like, come on and join and just set up the game for us? So, yeah, I think I would prefer to do it that way. So, couldn't be simpler. Basically, we have a dispenser here full of a bunch of rubbish, basically a bunch of blocks that I could very, very easily get, and then 3 empty spaces, which will get filled in with the minecarts of TNT. Once again, at the moment, I'm using chests. I also just put a chest up here with a hopper. That just means this will be continually getting refilled, so you won't need to spend ages resetting the game. And basically, if I go and set the mechanism off, this is a redstone clock, which will be gradually firing out the dispenser. So a third of the time, it won't dispense anything, and no, 2/3 of the time it won't, and then a third of the time it will dispense the chest, which basically means that every now and then they'll come out, but they won't kind of come out too crazy fast in a row. Of course, if it's like not enough coming out, you could make it so that there's more empty slots for the minecarts. If you think they're coming out too fast, you can switch it around. But basically, every game is going to be different because they're essentially coming out completely randomly, and I think that this works fine. I mean, the weird thing is we do get like a bit of a mess with all of these items. Actually, you know what I could do? Could I put a hopper right here just to collect up all of the rubbish again? Because that could be cool. Then that way I don't need to worry about having a bunch of like messy blocks all over the place. Like it doesn't really affect anything. But if I put that there we go. It looks like they still spawn fine. Then if I go and put a chest down here, then this way, hopefully, is this going to work? It would be good if those blocks then, oh, there we go. Did I pick it up? Oh, there we go. Look, this is working. So now, this way, all of the blocks that come out just get put inside of that chest, just like this. And then the minecarts, when they come out, just go on their merry little way down the track to begin the journey. Oh, that's cool. That was like the first time I actually thought about doing that, and that worked absolutely perfectly. So I think this works for randomly setting them out. So I think that the game should be kind of like you're watching them come down the track, and then you want to kind of go down somewhere. You just need to not be able to switch up and down too quickly, basically. And then I do like the idea with the arrow being given to the person that didn't press the button as well. I think works really, really well. So yeah, let me kind of do like a working version of this game, still not beginning to worry about what it looks like, just to kind of get the layout. And then, like, it's always good to do that before you kind of start thinking about color choices and specific layouts and getting the redstone really efficient. It's always good just to build a working version of the game, because normally you kind of either discover new problems that you didn't think about when you do that, or you have another idea for something cool that you could add into the game that you might not have thought about before. So yeah, let me build a working version of the game. We'll see whether the game is actually any fun and whether it is kind of enjoyable to try and get the timing right. I'll work out what the area is going to be for shooting them, and then also this area as well. There's quite a lot to this game that I need to work out, so let me give that a go, and then once it's kind of playable, I'll bring you back in and kind of show you what it's ended up looking like for now. Okay, this is it. This is the working version of the mini game. Of course, this isn't what it's going to end up looking like. It turned into a very redstone heavy minigame, and I really didn't think that was going to be the case. I thought, doing it with the TNT method means we won't have too much redstone, but yeah, it did turn out a little bit more redstone heavy. So let me explain how this is going to work. So this is the area with the tool ladder. So basically, this is where the players will start. They'll see everything starting to come down from there, all of the TNT minecarts. And then once they start getting to about here, they're going to need to try and time it right to press a button. So having a 1 block wide area and a ladder means you have to go down slowly. Like, that's quite important, because otherwise you could drop straight down. Then if I press this button, I'm probably not going to make it in time, but basically that button was, oh, there we go, you just about solved it. That was lifting up this block. The block, oh no, this block. It was lifting up this block to send it over to that side. I think that was right. Yeah, that was right, because the water wasn't on this side. And then the same on the other side down there, if that block was lifted up. I guess what I could do for now, just to demonstrate this, I'll go and do a lever. And then that will leave the block lifted up, which means anything would be sending that way. Of course, you won't have a lever, you'll just have a button. Also, though, every time, actually, I can test this. I haven't actually tested this yet. Every time that button is pressed, it will also be dropping either a arrow or a carrot down here. And it looks like I got lucky and got a couple of arrows. Basically, inside of the dropper, I put a bunch of arrows and carrots. The reason I did carrots is I thought it was kind of like a fun booby prize, and out of all of the different types of food, it's the easiest thing to get stacks and stacks of it. So basically, you might be giving your opponent an arrow, but you might be giving them a carrot. It's always nice to add a little bit of randomness. Of course, it does like ruin the balance a little bit, but it also kind of adds like a little bit more fun. And so overall, I think that kind of makes it a little bit better. So yeah, that's how the main part of the game will be played. If a minecart with TNT goes and makes its way down here, it will fall into this hole and it will blow up the top bit of cobblestone. The way I have it set up at the moment is it's going to be 3 bits of TNT that need to fall until it gets set off. And then let me just go and set 1 going, just to show you what happens once you've had 3 drop down. Of course, if you do have an arrow, you would have a last minute chance to stop it. So say, for example, I have an arrow and I know it's going to go to my side. I could come up here. You'll see that there's a 1 block gap there, which I will see the minecart go past. I have a chance to shoot it there to either destroy the minecart or blow it up, just to basically stop it from dropping down there, which is kind of the last chance. But once it does fall down, it will blow up this lever, which will turn off this trail of redstone. Oh god, it's not lit up. Okay, let's go and fix this quickly. Oh, I wonder if that was blown up from the bit at the top. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. It might be kind of making the explosion go through the cobblestone. I haven't done the cobblestone as thick as I did on the other side. So that might be something to check. I will still be continuing to discover problems. But basically, we'll stop that trail of redstone. And what it will do is it will push out the colored block for the person who ended up winning the game. So in this case, if it's blown up on this side, that would be the yellow player that has won. So basically, this block you will see, assuming this is all working correctly. I have only tested this once, so things could go wrong. But yeah, there we go. You see, this block has been slid out. So basically, what we would have here is only that middle one visible. So this would be like this and like that there. And so basically you would have one little area that you look at and you'll see that, oh, there's a yellow one there. The good thing about this way is that if then, say, the person on this side won, let me just go and, I guess, switch off the lever, it would be trying to push out the other block, but it can't because there's one block already there. So that way, like, it's a really good way just to see exactly who won first. Like, you don't need to be watching it at the time. Like, I'll probably hook up to some note blocks as well, just to make a ding go off, and then you can kind of look up and just whatever color is there, then you know that that's the person that won. It doesn't matter whether you're watching it exactly at the time. Let me just go and check underneath the ground here. It's blowing up the redstone down here. Very, very important to know. So here I think I did the obsidian's a little bit thicker on this side here. On this side, it's basically only just on the edges. So I think if I just do one more little round of obsidian around the outside there, I could also do it around the top layer there. I think that would stop that getting blown up. I also have a giant wall here for the moment. I think that wall won't need to be as big. That's just kind of my safety wall, just in case something went wrong and I blow up all of my redstone. I don't think I'm going to need too much obsidian. So, yeah, that's the way the game is going to be played. I think it's going to be fun. I think this is going to be a fun game. I've also decided that because there is quite a lot of redstone, I don't think I'm going to kind of leave it open. So there is an option. Oh, yeah. Oh, the one other thing is this is the start-stop mechanism. So basically, there's a little lever here. If I pull that, then basically that will be the game starting. You'll see it gradually kind of firing things off. It's still chest minecarts at the moment. We're probably going to get dirt the next time. Yep, there's dirt as well. So yeah, that basically just turns the game on and off. And then all I need to do is go and switch this lever, and that will go and stop the game. And yeah, there won't be much need to come up to the top here. I guess that you might want to come up here to break away any minecarts that have got stuck in that area. Might be something that you want to do. And eventually you will have to go and refill the chest and stuff as well at some point in the future. But yeah, that doesn't need to be something that you're going up kind of constantly in the game, so I don't need to worry about that too much. But yeah, so what I've decided to do is I think I'm going to do it as kind of more of a big blob. I think it might make quite an interesting shape, but because there is so much redstone kind of going on in the middle, I think rather than blocking it off with all separate walls, this area is just going to be completely blocked off. It means I'm probably going to build this out of wall rather than concrete, just because it's much easier to get loads and loads of wall rather than concrete. But yeah, I'm kind of liking the look of this so far. So I think I should probably start designing the actual version of the game. Now I got this kind of working prototype. I see that, you know, I feel like I've encountered all of the problems that I would be facing. So now I can kind of just make the redstone a little bit neater and a little bit more efficient, and kind of start designing what the game's going to actually look like. Like, for example, I'm probably going to use colored glass and stuff around here. So okay then, after all of this time, this is 3 days after I started designing this game, by the way. I haven't been like designing it non-stop for 3 days, don't worry, I am not that slow, but I keep kind of leaving it and then coming back to it just because I've been struggling with it so much. But it feels good to kind of actually have the design work done in terms of the mechanics, and now kind of just putting it all together in a smarter way. This is the progress I've made on the new design. So that was the old one down there, and this is the new one here. There's no huge differences. Like, a lot of the differences is in like the way that I did the redstone, just to make it a bit more efficient. But there's a few other things that I worked out that make it a bit better. So in this one, this area was a bit ugly, and like you'd have to kind of jump up to get into like the obsidian pit, I guess, down here. On this one, I've made it so that it's all just kind of level, so the pit just goes down there. I've done lots of testing with the TNT, and it doesn't blow up any of the area. I just needed to do loads of obsidian down here, so it wouldn't end up blowing up that redstone. It seems to overall be pretty safe, which is jolly good. I made it so that there's now 2 pistons which extend rather than 1, and then kind of there's this area here. So basically, this is going to be the way that you can walk from one area of the the map to the other. You wouldn't ever be doing that inside of the game, but just for when we're switching sides or just drawing the video, that's just going to be, it's going to be easy just to have a quick way to get across down through the middle and kind of separate from all of the redstone. But yeah, this is kind of the design I went for. I kept it orange and yellow, and I probably shouldn't have. I just got so used to it being orange and yellow on this version, I kept it the same. It's why, like, I often, when like doing mock-ups of things, I just use really strange colors, just so I know that I won't end up getting attached to the colors and won't have a bias towards that color rather than another color. But hey, that's what happened this time. And I did have a look around my lovely world, and I've not actually done any games that are like orange team against yellow team. So I guess it's a fine choice to do anyway. As you can see, I got the stained glass here. I got rid of the water for now, just in case I accidentally broke anything away. These tracks are just here so I can quickly go and put them in. Apart from that, it's pretty similar. It's slightly smaller than this version. The ladder doesn't take as long to go down, just because I think it was probably slightly too long. I think it's only like about 4 or so blocks shorter. It just means it'll be kind of less frustrating. It's not like too long of a time, like, oh, I've got to go all the way down. It's just enough to slow you down so that you have to try and get the timing right from when you're down here. Yep, this is how this room is. But one of the changes I did make is I've now put this dropper underneath a carpet. So this is the dropper which is going to be firing out the carrot and the arrows. I am sticking with the carrot and arrow idea for now. Yep, that's just going to be firing up from under the ground. One, it just means that it's more hidden. It means that the redstone can be much more neat because it's all hidden under the ground rather than here, like the redstone was going all around the top up there. Also means that you can't cheat. You can't really, actually, can you cheat? No, you can't cheat. You can't like open the dropper, and I don't think anyone playing the game would cheat, but it's just nice to kind of rule someone out accidentally grabbing something. And yeah, I think it's just a little bit better that way. And then the redstone is just a little bit more compact down underneath here. It's still a little bit of a mess just because there's quite a lot of just long trails just leading to different things, kind of all intertwining. But this is all going to be hidden under the ground, so this can be like as messy as whatever. The only thing I want to be quite good with is that when you press the button, there's as short of a delay as there can be until it sets off the piston, just because that's a very important part of this, that like it goes up almost instantly, and as you can see, it does. There's not even any repeaters. I used the torch trick just to make it that bit quicker, setting it off. And actually, I haven't tested, there we go. I hadn't tested whether the dispensers were working yet, so let's just go and make sure that's working on both sides. I think it should be, and yep, there we go. Sadly, I got a carrot both times, but yeah, that's pretty much how this area is going to be here. And then I've decided to only have one start-stop, because I could have this lever, which kind of turns the game on and off on both sides, but I think I'm just going to leave it on the orange side, because that's probably going to be the side that I'm playing. Then I'm going to be in control, because otherwise you can get into a weird case where like both levers are pulled and one is and one isn't, and you're kind of juggling to work out which is which. As it is at the moment, I just pull one lever and it just goes and switches that pretty quickly. Once again, just a giant big of redstone, but this is all going to be hidden under the ground. So mechanically, this is pretty much the game done. Like, this is ready to be played. Obviously, aesthetically, what it looks like, it's not ready yet. Have you noticed that these kind of look like giraffes? Look at that. They're not like giraffes, or those, oh, I'm so bad with dinosaur names, but those dinosaurs with the really long necks, they kind of look like them as well. Sadly, they probably won't once I've finished building the game. So basically, I can probably leave a big bit of the area here open. I'll obviously need a tower hiding this, and then this whole bit here I'm going to block off. And then I need to work out exactly how the entrance and exit is going to be. But yeah, mechanically the game is done. So I just wanted to kind of show you it as it is now before I go and cover it all up. I'm also going to take a bunch of screenshots of how it is now, because when I go to build it in my lovely world, I want to have some good pictures to see how it works. And if I'm going to be covering up all of the redstone, then that's not going to help me very much. So I always try to remember to do that before I cover it all up. So yeah, let me go and do that, and then I'll have one more clip at the end just to show you the final game. But there's a good chance you may have seen what the game ends up looking like finished anyway. But yeah, I will show you kind of how it ended once I had finished designing it in my sketchbook world. Right then, I believe I have finally finished the design, at least for the excuse me, for the sketchbook world. Anyway, I think with this one, even more than some of my other mini games, there's a good chance some of this stuff might change when I end up building it in my lovely world, just because some of the exact block placement just doesn't really matter, and 100% the redstones are not going to be exact. Whoa, hi guys, let's get rid of you. Oh no, now there's just one lonely sheep left down there. Let me go and spawn up. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, Yeah, this redstone won't end up the same because there's no point copying it exactly. As long as it works, then that's going to be fine. But yeah, it ended up being a lot more open than I expected. Remember me saying earlier that I thought it was just going to be a big block? Of course, I added in this kind of like archway here, which allows you to walk through. And then this big section is open here. And then these bits aren't as big as I thought. Mainly because all of the redstone is under the ground. I didn't need so much space. So some of these blocks are like here for no reason other than to make it look better. Like all of these blocks don't need to be here like this, but I kind of just wanted to match how far out they came on both sides. This bit's a little bit bigger than I expected. It doesn't need to go like this the entire way down. I could make it go thinner, but I thought it just looked better like this, and once again it kind of keeps it more in line with everything else down there. But I kind of changed around the way the redstone clock is here. So rather than being a big bulge behind, it kind of goes round to the side, which basically means that this whole thing doesn't need to go really far back in this direction, which I think just makes it look a little bit better. I filled in areas around the outside here and built a little wall around, and then kind of worked out how it would be linked up to the path, and then kind of kept with the same color scheme with white in the middle, and then the orange and yellow on either side, and then build up the glass a little bit more here, just so that there would be no way for you to shoot the TNT while you're here. But yeah, it should all be 100% working now. This is at least enough of how it's going to look like that I'll be able to build it in my lovely world. One of the things I might play around with is the idea of keeping... Let me just do a test now. Let me just do a little test now. Let me see if I can keep this stripe going down here. I don't think this will need to be obsidian. The reason why this whole section here is obsidian isn't for the explosion down there. It's because if someone shoots the TNT and it's here, I don't want it to blow up anything there. So I haven't actually tested that in a while. So that might be a good thing for me to quickly do now. So yeah, let's start the game going then. Let's go and pull this lever. That is going to start things spawning away. There we go. We have one going already. And then let's just make sure it does go one particular side. So let's just go and put a lever down here like this. And then it's going to go in this direction. So I can just kind of pretend that I'm down here. And then I'll try and shoot it. I might go and turn it off again because, yeah, otherwise we're going to get a whole bunch of TNT going out. So at the moment, it's I think it's so that it's back to third. So basically 1/3 of all of them that come out are going to be TNT. Just because the redstone clock's a little bit smaller, I made it like so it's a little bit rarer. So let's see what happens. Because something I've got to think about is chain reactions. Is if one bit of TNT sets off the next one, I don't want it to end up blowing the entire game up. Wouldn't be very much fun. But for now, actually, this is going to be a perfect time to test it because I think these both kind of came out back to back, and that seemed to be just about perfect. As you can see, it didn't blow anything up. Let me just do one more test because it's always good to make sure. Then I might just do a test just only firing out TNT just to make sure they're never close enough to do a big chain reaction. I think they were about as close as they could be then, and everything looks to be absolutely fine. So that's all looking good. So right then, here's the game. I haven't even started to think about a name for the minigame yet, but as you're watching this, I have, and it will be in the title, so I don't really need to mention that. But yeah, everything seems to be working nicely. So if you haven't seen me building it in my lovely world, I can leave a link in the description to me building this game over there if you want to see me kind of actually building the blocks. And there'll also be the video where we play it kind of in a tournament if you want to see me actually play this game. But for now, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye!